Shelley. And yes, the issue of getting children back to school and parents back to work is something that Tennesseans have put their attention on since day one, figuring out a way to make this work. And as Senator Blunt just said, money is not the problem. There's $67 billion that has been put in the pipeline. You have less than 10% of that has been pulled down by schools. What is an obstacle is teachers' unions who are saying, we have a wish list and we're going to put our priorities in front of the students. We're going to put this in front of the pupils that would be in these classes. In Tennessee, they said, we're going to make a team and we're going to get this job done. So you had directors of schools and superintendents and principals and parents that all came together and said, this is how we make it work. And that is why 93 of our 95 counties were back in school in some way, shape, or form in August and have continued. They have hybrid models. They are working with parents, working with the community, with their health departments. And yes, indeed, children are in person in classes, and they're doing the right thing for these children, and the teachers' unions did not prevail in trying to keep children out of school and classrooms closed.
Thank you, Marshall. We have Senator Marshall.
Great. Thank you, Shelley, and it's always hard to follow Marsha, but it's a good afternoon, everybody. You know, I'm a first-generation college kid who got to go to medical school. Education is the great equalizer in this great nation. It's what gives every kid the same opportunity, the equal opportunity to succeed. And like the people standing beside me, I'd give the shirt off my back to get our kids back in school. Any day of the week, give me a good teacher and a chalkboard and an eraser over a Zoom call. What we have before us, though, is a bill that Americans will soon find out exactly how bad it is, how absurd and irresponsible it is, and soon will become very unpopular. Certainly we agree with our friends across the aisle, the goal of getting our kids back in school, but this bill does little to expedite or encourage getting our kids safely back in the classroom. Now, as one of three physicians in the room, actually, I remind everybody that youth suicide has doubled. Our youth mental health has never been worse, but today the issue of getting our kids back in school feels more like parents versus the teachers union, and it should not be. It feels like no matter what the CDC says, no matter if teachers are vaccinated, no matter how much money we throw at this, it just doesn't seem to matter. Our friends across the aisle keep moving the goalposts on us. As Marshall and several others have talked, we've already appropriated $113 billion for education from our recent COVID relief bills, $113 billion. Now the CDC says we need $22 billion more to get our kids in school, $22 billion. And guess what? We've got $60 billion left that we haven't spent yet. So why wouldn't we just reappropriate that $60 billion and see where we are in a couple of months? That's just too much common sense. Look, this bill before us, not one Republican voted for it in the House. And it's asking us now to borrow another $170 billion for education, but only spend $6 billion now. Does any of this make sense to anybody? We're going to borrow 170 and only spend $6 billion of it now, but the crisis is now that we need to get our kids back in school. I feel like maybe our colleagues across the aisle are going to take Americans for fools, and we're not. This bill will become widely unpopular. It's not right, it's not fair, it's not American. This is a dereliction of duty on their behalf. And if I could just say one more positive thing, I just want to thank all the teachers that are out there now that are teaching, that are back in the classroom. We've got your back, and we'll keep fighting for you to get our kids back in the classroom. Thank you so much. God bless.